taken us 8 years, but I finally spent some money on a player. Hello and welcome to part 74 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 games in League One. One away against Colchester and the other one at home against Gillingham. Since you were last with me, I don't really want to talk about it. It's not going very well. Remember, we only have to fight against relegation this year. We shouldn't get sacked even if we do go down. But I have been busy in the transfer market. The window is just closed. We did bring a few more players in. Why are we all the way back in 20... I did wonder why I'd re-signed Elliot Rocker on loan. Goodness me, blast from the past time. Let's get through to this season. So we brought in a couple more players. Firstly, we signed Lee Weaver, who's a striker on loan from Norwich. 3-star current ability, 5-star potential. He's scored 3 goals from 2 games in the Carabao Cup. Hasn't yet scored a goal in the league, but we need him. Josh McDonald has got an injury that's going to keep him out until Christmas. It's ankle ligaments or something, so he's going to be out for 4 to 5 months. So Weaver's going to come straight in as a partner for Fisher. Craig Watts is a goalkeeper. We have a second one now. I mean, the similarities between him and Robbie Nadat, astounding. 2.5-star current ability, young goalkeeper in on loan, 4.5-star potential. He did play a season in the National League last year. He's not ready to come into our team. He's there as backup for Nadat and maybe to push him for a spot in the team as the season goes on. And then the one we've all been waiting for. We spent actual money on what I'm hoping will be a replacement for Miles Darwin, who I think is a big miss for us this year. Jay Johnson is a 22-year-old midfielder who can also play as an attacking midfielder. He's got 3-star potential, 4.5-star potential, and 3-star current ability, 4.5-star potential, and we spent £5,000 on him to bring him in from Bangor City, where his contract was up, but for us to just sign him, it would have been £275,000 of compensation. So I don't know why they agreed to sell him for £5,000. The whole compensation thing seems a little bit silly in those circumstances. But he's come in. We're paying him a lot of money, £2,000 a week. He needs to be good, but it was a panic buy on deadline day because I just think that is the position where we've been really struggling this year. So hopefully Johnson can come in and be the man. So this is the team for today's game against Colchester. We are rock bottom of the league. It would be rather nice if we could at least pick up a draw. So we've got Nadat in goal, a back four of Hudson, Laskowski, Sawyer and Mole, with Johnson, White and Skelton in midfield and Ball in behind Weaver and Fisher. So we're starting to get more of a new season look to the team now as the likes of Weaver, Johnson, Hudson, Mole, White even start to drift into the team, and we try and work out who are our League One quality players and who aren't. I did try and re-sign Cedwyn Scott as well. As soon as McDonald got injured, the first thing I did, straight on the phone to Cedwyn Scott, who still hasn't found a club. Come on, come back. Just for 6 months, just for a year, whatever you want. Just come back. We need you. You're going to play week in, week out in League One if you come in. And he just slammed the phone down. Wouldn't even discuss terms. He wants a new challenge, apparently. Well, I would have thought a new challenge. Playing in League One week in, week out is a new challenge compared to sitting on the bench in League Two. But apparently that's not enough of a challenge for Cedwyn. I don't know what... I mean, is he going to go and climb Everest or something? But I feel like as a member of... I think he's a club icon, Cedwyn Scott. He's just basically kicked sand in our eyes there in our moment of need when we're really struggling and we could do with a man who's never let us down. He lets us down massively. So, Cedwyn Scott, we're done. Never going to say that man's name on this channel again. I'm very disappointed in him. Unless, of course, we managed to sign him in like November and he comes in and scores loads of goals, then I'll probably say his name after his first hat-trick or something. But for now, he's dead to me. Right, we're already losing this game, which, I mean, I'm pretty used to that at the moment. Oh, good, Sawyer's on a yellow card, so he'll probably get sent off. Weaver, can we muster up a chance? Fisher with a lovely little pass into Ball, and we do score. Fisher with the assist. James Ball grabs an equaliser. Fisher, I don't think, has scored for us yet this season, so that's a little bit of a worry. Weaver got about 24, 25 goals in League Two last season, so there's plenty of goals in him as well. Very similar mould to both Fisher and McDonald, so hopefully he'll come in as just a straight swap for McDonald and should score as many goals as McDonald would have. But the big worry is the fact that Dan Fisher, who scored so very many goals for us last year in League Two, as of right now, doesn't seem to be making the step up. I hope we're not going to be in a Livesey Mason situation all over again, where he scored all those goals in the National League and just it was very clear very quickly that he wasn't a League Two player. And Fisher's picking up a couple of assists, but unless he starts scoring some goals soon, I am going to start to worry. I mean, it's not like we've got anyone we can replace him with. The situation with Mason was a little bit different because we had McDonald and Fisher fresh in the club on loan. We had Sedwin Scott around as well. We don't have any other options. This is one of the weaker squads that we've had in the last 3 or 4 seasons, and it just so happens that this is also the season where we find ourselves playing in League One. If we win a game at any point this season, I'm going to take that as quite the achievement. I'm a little bit worried that I might get sacked. We haven't really discussed for 6 or 7 seasons now what the plan would be if I got sacked, because it hasn't ever really looked like a danger since that first season or two. But I know they shouldn't sack me if we get relegated, but that's on the assumption that we're going to fight against relegation. If we're 10 points from safety at Christmas, are we fighting against relegation, or are we just rolling over and letting them tickle our bellies? In which case, do I get fired just to give someone else an opportunity to put up a little bit of a fight? Because at the moment, we have precisely 0 fight in us. We're just not good enough. I wonder if it's time for a tactical change. This 4-3-1-2 has served us so well for so long, and the transfers are built around doing it. So it would be difficult switching up into something else. But if we're not outscoring teams anymore, does it make sense having 3 very attacking players on the pitch at the same time in the shape of the front 2 and the man in behind? If they're not scoring, it's kind of a waste of a player who could be trying to stop the other team scoring. We could perhaps go back to a 5-3-2, which we've used before, or even, I don't know, a 4-5-1 type thing. But it's whether or not we've got any wide players. And what happens with someone like James Ball, who's been so important for so long and actually has still looked quite good this season? Do we play Ball in behind one striker and stick an extra defender in maybe, or an extra midfielder, or I don't know what we do. Hey, Robbie Nadak caught the ball. I mean, I know the abuse in the comments will be partly for me, partly for Robbie Nadak, but if you look at the stats today, Colchester have had 3 clear-cut chances, we've had 1, and the score is 3-1 to Colchester. So Nadat has done no less than you would expect of him. But the fact remains, we're conceding, we're letting the teams create too many chances. Right, let's shuffle things around and see what we can come up with if we have this combination of players on. So we can do this. Probably don't want those 2 playing as a Carolero and a Mazzala as if they're the only midfield 2. Can either of you be a box-to-box midfielder? Skelton can do box-to-box for me. I mean, Skelton can play as a striker. He's maybe an option if we're struggling for goals. Move Skelton further forward. He's our one championship quality player. But I don't know. Maybe we try that and we stop trying to exploit the middle. Right, let's take our medicine. Oh, this feels like a really bad idea, but we can't be as bad. Raquel Pike's playing for them. Oh, veteran of last year's non-league to legend. He must be getting on a bit at this point in the save. Have we maybe looked a little bit better since switching to this system? Do we maybe need a little bit of width? Am I going to have to change the tactic for the next game? Because just the whole idea of doing that, I find really troubling. Oh, we can't just keep going at teams 4-3-1-2 on control and getting thumped. We need to try something different in this Gillingham game. Here we go then, something different, trying to get players playing in their best positions. I started with a 4-3-3 with this player in behind here, but we don't really have a natural defensive midfield player. So I pushed ball forward and went for a 4-4-1-1, but Solana and Short both want to play as wingers rather than midfielders. Neither of them are natural in midfield, so it kind of morphed itself into the 4-2-3-1 that we ended the last game with, just with some tweaked instructions. So the wing backs have dropped back to be full backs. I've gone with a deep line playmaker and a box-to-box midfielder in midfield. 2 wingers both on support with an advanced playmaker on support. I don't know, do we need some of these on attack? Probably need someone on attack. I just don't know who or where. Do you want to be on attack? Do you want to be on attack? I mean, you want to be on attack, don't you? So you be on attack and then you be on attack. Let's get some players forward a little bit. And then Fisher's just going to stay up and hopefully be Fisher. We've gone to standard and flexible. And I've basically pressed a few buttons on the team instruction thing. So we're going to look for overlap. We want our fullbacks getting beyond our wingers occasionally, especially on this side. We want whipped crosses for Fisher. We want to play wider. If we're playing with wingers, we may as well take advantage of it. And as usual, I want to play with a higher tempo. I like to play with a high tempo. So I wonder how much we'll lose by today. At least we had a couple of wingers knocking around sort of on the fringes of the first team anyway, in the shape of Solana and Short. But I don't know, the whole thing. I'm a little bit afraid of what might be about to happen. Short is in behind, and actually Skelton with a lovely little angled through ball for Short, and he caused a little bit of panic in the Gillingham defence there. That was one of the more positive attacking moves that we've had in a long time. 15 seconds into the game, we actually looked like, I mean, that was all right. If we have a few more of them, we'll actually score some goals today. Sawyer makes a good tackle, and Nadat's just going to do it all on his own. Beats 2 men, plays the ball forward. The 2 men were nowhere near him, but I still count it as him beating them. Fisher has dropped very deep for a man who's playing up front on his own. Might have to give ball instruction to run beyond him. But in fact, ball does slot Fisher in, and Dan Fisher has scored. 4 minutes into the match, Dan Fisher has what I'm pretty sure is his first goal of the season. And James Ball finally playing in his preferred role after, 4 seasons at the club, being told to play as an attacking midfielder on attack. I've finally given him what he wants and made him an advanced playmaker on support. And he plays a beautiful through ball for Dan Fisher. I've still not given him his preferred role. He wants to be a defensive forward. Well, I'm not playing a defensive forward up front on his own. That just feels too negative even for me, unless I've got a shadow striker or someone running beyond him, or an advanced forward or something along those lines to go alongside him. Fisher's going to have to be an attacking forward and like it. But we're 1-0 up at the moment. This is remarkable. Could my tactical genius lead to a first win of the season? Fisher in behind, I think, gets fouled. But Dan Fisher scored again, and he completely meant it. Assist by Robbie Nadat. What? How is that an assist by Robbie Nadat? Robbie Nadat is the fella over here in a yellow shirt. Do they just assume that a goalkeeper making a mistake is always going to be Robbie Nadat? I don't care. Nadat gets an assist to his name, despite not being involved in the move at all. And Dan Fisher gets his second goal of the game. The assist hasn't actually been credited to Nadat at all. That's a real shame. It should have been. I really hope the save isn't starting to glitch out, though. That could become problematic. And Nadat makes a beautiful save. 2-0 up just before half-time. Where are Gillingham in the league? Probably like 23rd. But surely I'm not going to have to play with wingers this season. I haven't got any. The transfer window's just closed. I've only got a couple of kids. But then I guess that's all I've really got in any position. All we've signed for the last 3 or 4 seasons is kids. There's bound to be some who can play out wide, just as there's a few who can play in central midfield as well. Anderson is beaten there, probably because I'm trying to force him to go too far forward. Misses with his last-ditch tackle, but Nadat makes another good save. As Laskowski giving away a penalty. I mean, Robbie Nadat had that covered. He's already got an assist today. He had that completely covered. And, for a minute there, I thought Nadat was going to make the save. Imagine if the only thing Robbie Nadat needed to become a decent goalkeeper was for us to play with wingers. That's all he's been waiting for. I play really well in a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. Can't handle this narrow system, though. It wrecks my mind. Makes me make terrible mistakes. Right, ball with a free kick. Laskowski's there and probably should have made up for giving away the penalty at the other end. See, now is when I start to second guess myself a little bit, especially when we've got a new tactic that we're using. Half an hour to go, we're 1 goal ahead. We've not won a game all season. Do we start making some tactical tweaks, or do we just keep doing what we're doing? And I will never know what the right answer to that question is. There's far too many variables involved. Fisher plays it to Ball. Ball has got men on the left-hand side on the overlap and ignored them both. If we're going to have a left-hand side pushing that far forward, Ball has to use them when he's in a situation like that, and he didn't. And it's directly led to us conceding an equaliser. And I have to put a lot of the responsibility for that with James Ball, because both Solana and Anderson were up there supporting him, and he just chose to ignore them both, lost the ball, and then we had a gap behind where they both were. We could be 3-1 up. Instead, it's 2-2. And I know you're not going to tell me that that was absolutely not James Ball's fault, but I'm going to take a bit more convincing than that, I think. Right, neither of the wingers have played well. Do we have a plan? Do we have a plan C? Right, Lyons can play wide. Hopefully as an inside forward. Yeah, let's have you as an inside forward. I think that would be a nice little treat for us. So Lyons can play as an inside forward. Solana, White can come on for him. Or do you want to be an inside forward as well? No, you want to be a player. Well, you can stay as a winger. And I mean, I don't feel the need to make a third substitution right now, but Lyons can come on, play as an inside forward, and we'll see if that... I mean, I always worry a little bit having two wingers on the pitch, but a winger and an inside forward feels acceptable. Johnson, not quite first to the ball. Second to the ball is the word I'm looking for there, and we don't seem to have had paid for it, but Gillingham are coming at us again. We're struggling a little bit to get the ball away. Nadat makes the save, but it's still with Gillingham. Every time we touch the ball, it's just to give it back to another Gillingham player. It happens again with Laskowski. Another save from Nadat. Maybe it hit the post. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but it's wave after wave of pressure from Gillingham, and there is the inevitable goal that has been coming for so long. I don't like the fact that we're being out-shooted by an opposition team. That is not how Kev plays. We've been down this road before. If we're going to go down, I want to go down fighting. I want to go down swinging. I want to go down doing things the way we've always done them. This whole trying not to concede goals nonsense, I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to cope with this for. Right, let's take Johnson off. Get Weaver up front with Fisher. Drop Ball back in there. You're going to have to be a deep line playmaker, sir. And do that. We need to attack now, actually. So 4-2-4 for the final 10 minutes of the game. We've got three strikers on the pitch at the moment, because we've got Lyons as a striker as well, who's being played out on the wing. I wonder if we should have taken off play wider when we moved to an inside forward. Is that why it's completely my fault that we lost? It can't be that. It can't be as simple as that. White plays it forward to Weaver, to Fisher. We have got men over. Here's White again with the cross. Weaver probably should have found a way to have a shot, but in the end it finds its way to Lyons. We still have time to work the ball around a little bit if we need to. White is in loads of space, and that was a big, big chance. And Fisher was just inside him as well. He could have squared it to Fisher, but went it alone and didn't really... I mean, it was a pretty tame shot. I thought we'd won a penalty for a second there, but no. Skelton fouled the Gillingham defender, and I think that may well have been our opportunity to find a way back into this game. Our elusive search for a first win of the season continues. Let me know down in the comments if and when you think we'll score that first win. This is our 6th game of the season now. How many games in will we actually win a football match? Will we win a football match, or will I get sacked before the opportunity presents itself? That was frustrating. Still much work to do. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.